Wow, those are awesome testimonies, Alf.
They are amazing testimonies, and they're just a few of hundreds of people who have come and have received inner healing using this process.
I'm sure people would like to know a little bit more about the process of inner healing. Can you share that with us?
The process has a number of steps, and the one area that I would talk about first is what I call blocks or barriers. Because the inner healing process, as easy as it is, can sometimes be blocked by things like unconfessed sin, unforgiveness, lack of self-forgiveness, and mental agreements. And these blocks, there's significant ways that the mind is used to stop us from hearing truth. When we sin, we tend to go into one of those rooms of the mind and close the door and keep it shut. And when we do that, Jesus isn't allowed to be in there. And so it just gets darker and darker. And so there's no invitation for truth when you're living in that darkness. Secondly, with unforgiveness, the fruit of unforgiveness is bitterness, anger, and hatred. And when you have a hatred for an individual, it's very difficult to hear any truth related to that person. The other two blocks, the lack of self-forgiveness, is a form of self-wounding where people use words against themselves. They are the creator of the words, and they start to beat themselves up with negative words. And then the fourth block is what I call mental agreements, vows or curses or covenants where you come into agreement with another person. A vow, an example is somebody does something to you and you don't like them and you say, I will never speak to that person again. Well, never has that level of commitment in it that's causing the person to say, no, I'm never going to talk to that individual again. Well, it's difficult to love that person when you have that agreement. And so when you have those sorts of mental agreements, they need to be renounced and they need to be replaced with more positive mental agreements.
What do you say to the person that's been hurt who doesn't want to forgive?
There are two things. One, do you want the pain to go away? If you want the pain to go away, the only way to have it go away is to forgive. It takes time for it to go away, but it will go away when you forgive. And the second thing is, do you want to live in anger, bitterness, and hatred? Because that's the fruit. The fruit of forgiveness is freedom. Your choice. Do you want to live in bitterness or do you want to live in freedom?
One of the issues that I was struggling for a long time was the depression. And doing some work with Alf and even on my own, because of the training that I did receive, I have been set free from depression. I know now that, Jesus is with me and, the joy is really within me now, and I've been walking freely for the last number of years. And so I thought, well, you know what, let's just see how this works with children as well. And because I have my own kids, I thought, you know what, I want to see how it works on my son Nathan, who's now 6 years old. He had gone to an amusement park and we went into a haunted house, and for some reason, of course, he came away scared. And so that evening he was expressing to me how he didn't want to go to bed because he was really afraid. So then I thought, you know what, why not just try this on a 5.5-year-old boy and let's see if it works. And so within a couple of minutes, we went through the inner healing process. He said, you know what, Mom, Jesus is here. He's taken that scary picture and feeling away, and I'm okay now. And I said, are you sure? And he goes, oh yeah, that's it. So that night he was able to go to bed and he had no qualms. He fell asleep peacefully and slept through the night.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and I first came to see Alf about a year ago. We talked about how these things were, what I seemed to be struggling with, this feeling of just not being good enough. As he prayed, and we invited the Lord to come into the situation and to see if there was a source. I'll never forget closing my eyes as he prayed, and the memory that came back was when I was about 4 years old. But I remembered clearly as I sat there, I could see the neighborhood, I could see the arena that was down below, I could see the house we were going into. And my dad, when I was about 4, my sister was about 2, loved to take us to house parties where we would sing for people. And I remember saying to Alf when that memory came back, I said, I don't understand. This is one of the few good memories that I remember. But the moment I said that, it was like I felt a band around my head. and I felt the pressure. And God showed me in an instant that that was exactly the place where the pressure to perform had entered in. And even though God spoke to me and he said, I gave you a gift, Nicole. That gift was for you to enjoy. It was to bring pleasure to you, and others would have pleasure as you enjoyed that gift. Jesus set me free from that pressure to please people that was really holding me back. And I know now in my heart that he can ask me to do anything and I can do it because he gives me the ability to.